to chapter 12. Because in chapter 12, and chapter 12, and I'm going to be teaching, I'm not going to hoop this morning, I'm not going to say I won't get excited, amen, but I'm not going to run cross pews. I just want to identify, amen, and the enemy, trust me, it's been a great battle for me. Amen, anytime you get ready to, amen, to open the truth of a book that was given, amen, to a special people, the enemy has his reasoning for allowing you not to, amen, to understand. Because the book of Revelation is a closed book. I said it is a closed book. You don't find many teaching it.
Right.
You find a few of them quote from it. You find many don't know nothing about it. But one of the greatest things you find, just about everybody's scared to even teach from it. And you got majority afraid to even look at it, lest don't read it. Am I right?
Right.
And so when you look at chapter 12, there is a great battle that is taking place. A spiritual battle in chapter 12. That's why chapter 13 is so important. Because chapter 12 is the book that opens up the door, amen, for the Antichrist, which is in chapter 13. But my reasoning for going back to chapter 1 is because chapter 13 is the identity of the end time. It's the identity of the end time. It's reflecting to, amen, a time of even today. So when we look at this great book, this great revelation, amen, this apostrophe, amen, you're looking at that word apostrophe means uncovered, unveiled. The reasoning for this book to be called a closed book is because this book is only going to be understood by the servants. This is a closed book to the world. The world will look at this book and believe nothing of it because the way the words in the book is. So it's an uncovered book, an unveiled book. Remember when Jesus died, you remember prior to his death, only the priest was allowed behind the veil. And a priest that went behind the veil, they would take a rope and tie around his waist. And as he approached and go behind the veil, they would identify him living through the rope. Because when he went behind the veil, if the rope no longer moved, that means that he was not qualified to be behind the veil because of his lifestyle, because he had sinned. Any individual went behind the veil was one that was cleaned by God, had been through the repentance stage and went through the things that it took to get behind the veil. So everybody was not qualified to go into the presence of God. So the coming of Christ, you'll find that he opened the door for all of us. All of us. When he died and rose, the veil was wrenched. That is saying that we have the right qualifications to go into the presence of God. And we would not die. Now remember, it was those that was afraid to go behind the veil because they questioned their own life. People, we got to get to the place where it is that coming into the presence of God, we cannot fear because God has not given us the spirit of fear, but love, power, and of a sound mind. So when the rope would no longer move, they would grab the rope and they would pull the priest out, and the priest would normally be dead because of his life.
My Lord Jesus.
So the book of Revelation is a book that was given to the servant. And when you look at the fact that it was given to the servants, that means it was given to the believers who will believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of the living God. Everybody that professed that, amen, profess Christianity is not followers of Christ. That's why it's important for you to identify chapter 13 to become the most important book in the book of Revelation, because you have to know the difference between the Christ and the Antichrist.
Yes, yes.
Because if you don't know in your heart who Christ is, the Antichrist will perpetrate so greatly till you will fall for his tactics and think it's Christ when it's not. I used to preach many years ago, Brother Tyron, amen, with the 7 seals that they would call, where it was that we would go and we would preach, amen, the 7 seals. And the first, everybody wanted to preach from the first seal. And reason is because they got an opportunity to try and describe Christ as the rider of the right horse. But in my studies, I found out, and I began to step back from those teachings, because the Bible said, amen, don't add nor take away. Because it will be added and it will be added to your life, and your name will be taken away from the book of life, the Lamb book of life. So I stepped back because people would just get in this book and teach things, but yet did not study it. Because the white horse rider is not Christ, is the Antichrist. He's a counterfeiter.
Yes.
He is a counterfeiter. So when you look at the book of Revelation, in chapter 1, it is a revelation given by who? Christ himself. Now, later on, I'm going to show you something so powerful, that when you hear, even it sounds great. When preachers stand up and they began to preach, and his hair like lamb wood, his feet like fine brass. They're describing, they say, this is Christ. I'll show you in the book of Revelation that's not him. But that is his angel. The very description. Have you ever heard of the fact that somebody said, I saw you, and they know they talked to you, but it wasn't you, it was your angel? Can I tell every one of you, you have personal angels look just like you, amen, watching over and, amen, protecting you? Can I tell you God has assigned an angel, amen, to protect you? But can I tell you that the counterfeiter has signed an angel just to, amen, to destroy you? On the last time we was here and teaching, and I opened this book of Revelation, I was describing that, amen, many people thought Satan was the Antichrist, but he's not. So I had to break down and identify who Satan really is and his real purpose. And his main purpose is to cut and what? And hurt the heart of God. Let me tell every one of you, don't get so excited when the enemy attacks you because it ain't about you.
That's right.
Don't get so upset when the devil comes and, amen, rain on your party. Don't get so upset because it ain't about you. But you ought to get excited and start praising God because God chose you.
Yeah.
And you must be somebody important that he can trust. For you even, amen, to even be tested. Because he said, have you considered my servant Job? In other words, God not going to just let you go through something if you ain't qualified to go through it. And so when the enemy, he allowed him to come because he has considered and trusted you, and he know you going to be able to handle what you're going through. And so he said, go ahead on, test my servant Job. Go ahead on, try my servant Shoni. Go ahead on, go ahead on. The whole purpose of Satan is to cut and hurt the heart of God. And what hurts God's heart more than anything, I said, what hurts God's heart more than anything, when his prized possession, creation, don't believe that he is and that he is a reward of them that diligently seek him.
Amen.
So when we look at the fact that he said, I give this to my servants. And he said, and I want to show you something that must shortly come to pass. Shortly come to pass. In other words, let me say this here. Let me say this about this. He said, I want to show you something about the future that is going to soon happen. Shortly. Shortly. When we look at death seems like it's short. You're here today and you're gone tomorrow. You see loved ones today and you no longer see them tomorrow. And many of us, if we only understood it, we wouldn't be so afraid of it. So Jesus said, look, I want to give this book to my servants. I want all of those that will be believers and followers of me to understand future events. I want you to understand things that's going to happen in the end time. Things that's what he said, future events, shortly. Now I want to note 4 things about the fact that it's shortly going to happen. 4 things I want to note. I want you to note today. 4 things when he said these things must shortly take place. And the reason is because the generation before me and the generation before them and the generation before them and the generation before them was saying the same thing that we're saying today. Yeah. That we're living what?
The last days.
We're living where? In the last days. I heard my grandmother, I heard my mom and them used to say that. Mm-hmm. I heard my grandmother them used to say that. So if they have said it and it has not happened, why is it that we're saying it and we think it's going to happen? That's a question. That's something to think about, right? Mm-hmm. I come to teach you. I come to put you in a position to let you know that life itself, you can no longer take it for granted because every day is end time living.
Yes.
If he would have gave time, the world would live hellish all day long and all night long and wait a day before to get right. They would get drunk every day. And I use the word drunk, not drink. Because it's different in drinking and getting drunk. A person that drinks is not in sin. Your sin comes when you get drunk. I want to teach you the difference between one that goes to the casino and gamble and one that goes and live there and overindulge in it. I want to teach those that goes to the buffet and eat just enough and those that go and just overeat. Now I identify drink, drunk, gamble, overindulging, gambling, because back in the day if you went to the movie it was a sin. It was a sin back in the day if you went to the movie. Everything was a sin, but you found out that everything was not. Can I tell you, taking a drink ain't gonna keep you out of heaven? Going to the casino ain't gonna keep you. Don't y'all just go. Because you cannot always handle it. Proverbs says this: anything that leads you into sin, don't do it. If you cannot handle it, don't do it.
Right. Gonna get you caught up.
Anything that takes control over you becomes a sin.
Amen. Thank you. That's right.
Put it on television. Yeah, I said it. Put it on the World Wide Web. It's the word. Some preachers, amen, a few years back, one of the members won the lottery and they wanted to pay their tithes. They don't bring that money here. The Bible said the wealth of the wicked is laid up. Yes, bring it here. I can build a new building. I can build an apartment complex. I can build an apartment complex. And to those that is, amen, that is less fortunate, can't pay $700-800 a month, we can have a low income.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes. It's crazy.
If you want 100 million, want to bring 10 million to TWD, bring it. We're going to build a gymnasium for our children.
That's right.
Because when you look at that word, because sometimes everybody want to put you in certain places and want to judge you for things.
Bondage.